Hey everybody, how's it going? It's the Cubeaholic. Today we've got a video on the top 5 tips for beginner speedcubers. Now we have a, this is a suggestion from Gunman Lee, something like that. And thank you so much for commenting a suggestion. And by the way, I'm planning on doing a Q&A, so if you have questions, leave them in the comments of this video. Without further ado, let's get started. First technique is the hardware. You're going to want to find a good speed cube for you. If it's your buddy's good speed cube, you might like it. Just make sure it's the one for you. Like, for example, I have a whole collection of cubes, right? I've gone through a few phases of the cubes. Like, I started out with a Guhong. I liked that a lot, and then I moved on to a weilong version 1. And then a Fengshi Shuangran version 2, a Guanlong, an aolong version 2, which I stuck with for like 7-8 months until it snapped. Yeah, I solved a lot on that thing. And then I went to like a Yushin, and then a Tanglong. And then I'm getting the GT soon. But that sounds like a lot of cubes. Find one that's right for you. I have a few suggestions. This is from my personal experiences. I loved the aolong, it was so great. I just haven't gotten a new one yet, but it is coming. And then I got stuck with the Yushin. That's great. I like it. I worked on this a lot. And then I got the Tanglong recently. Those are my top 3 suggestions. If you're on a budget though, definitely go for the Guanlong. It's really cheap. You can get it on like any cube store for really cheap, and it's super awesome. So here's a few examples of me messing with some of those cubes. Tip number 2 is F2L cases that are common. So when you start learning F2L, you're going to want to learn common cases. That way you can like adapt from them. For example, if I have this, for example, I have these 2 pieces. I know that like I can either pair them up like that, but let's say I didn't know that. I can see that a basic insertion is RU R prime or L prime U prime L. Something like that. So if I take this out, I can see that I can easily pair them up, and then head on to my next pair, which would be these 2. That's a common case. This one, it's not a common case. It's a tricky one, so I can split them up and transform it into a common case. That way, I only have a smaller vocabulary of F2L cases, which will be growing, but I do know how to apply them. A big part of growing as a speedcuber is learning your last layer algorithms and other algorithms in general. So I'd start off with learning the basics, 2 look OLL, 2 look PLL, those 2 for sure. And once you learn those, I would probably learn them maybe 2 a day, 3 a day, and then go at it by doing each one 20 times or so. And then from there, I would probably build up your PLL vocabulary, because there's a lot less, there's like 2 times more of the amount of OLLs than PLLs. Then maybe move on more towards the more common or easier OLLs. So yeah, and then you can apply that with any algorithm. Alright, our next tip is learning techniques and how to apply them. So let's say you've learned some new fancy F2L technique and you're really loving it, but it's obviously going to take some time to apply. So before you rush off and try to learn another new technique, stay with that one for about a week maybe. More than that even. Just work on that one only. Like, only that technique. That way you can build on your strengths with it. This is discussed in like a mountain type of concept strategy for learning, and you'll be getting it in no time. So that's how I would develop look ahead, all those types of things. And speaking of look ahead, our last tip is slowing down and looking ahead. Now this isn't completely a beginner technique, but it can be applied. This can be used to see how the piece or your moves affect the pieces, and that's going to help a ton because as you see how the pieces move around, you can begin to understand how you can track them. And yeah, so by the way guys, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you've got questions for me, because I do plan on doing a Q&A, please leave them in the comments, and I will see you later. So peace out. It's been the Cubeaholic.